and good evening to everyone who's going to watch me live. So, today I wanted to talk about this question that no one has asked me, but this is a question that I don't think this question actually exists. For people who know the truth, they would not ask this question. And for people who do not know the truth and the people who want to stay in illusions, for them, this question is not even logical. So, what is the question? The question is, have things changed drastically for women, okay, over the years? And this comes from 2 points. This one movie that I watched, Mrs. And in the last 1 month, I've been taking tuitions of class 12 students, and those students I have not taught personally, okay. So there's a poem in class 12th, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, okay. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers is about, Aunt Jennifer is a woman who has been suppressed big time by her husband, okay. And she's like embroidering two tigers, okay, on on a very big board, and then she's doing that, and through comparing the tigers' vibrancy and the courage, we are being told that they're just the opposite of Aunt Jennifer. Like, Aunt Jennifer is like really troubled and stressed about the coming of her husband. She's very afraid while she's doing something which she likes, but her fingers are fluttering, and so she is troubled deep inside, and she can't even do what she wants to do herself because of the fear of the husband, okay. So this entire idea of suppressing your original self to be acceptable to someone, and something similar which is shown in this movie Mrs., wherein everything is being shown towards the end, how she rebels because she has been asked to leave something that she loves very dearly, that is dancing. Husband says that, okay, you can't become a school teacher also, that too a part-time teacher she wants to be. And then what happens towards the end is that the husband asks that you delete the last videos also from social media related to your dance. Thank you so much. So at that point of time, she understands that this marriage is not going to work. Okay, so it's just shown without what I liked. Good evening, Vita. What I really liked about that movie was that a lot of conversation happened without words being used. Okay, and everything was shown in like blatant detail and blatant reality. So the question, coming back to what is the question of today's video, have things like really drastically overnight changed for women, and like women are like so safe and things are absolutely the opposite? Thank you so much, Om. So have things actually changed to a certain extent? Yes. In fact, that has to be answered in like one sentence, but to a large extent, no. What has not changed is the perspective, the male gaze. Maybe people who have studied literature or art may be understanding this very easily, what I'm saying, but what has not changed is the gaze. Gaze is like, let's say, if I'm looking at the door from here, it appears to be in a certain angle. If a person looks at the same door from the opposite side, that person may see another version of the door. Or let's say that there is a blackboard, okay, which is white from the opposite side, but I'm watching it from the front, okay. So I look at the black side and I said, oh my god, it's so black. But there's another person who's standing on the opposite side and looking at the door, which appears to be white. But I want to say that the door, like the board is black only, and I'm not ready to accept that it can be white as well, which it is already. So there are parts of the door which are not visible to me, and yet I'm not ready to accept that there are other parts or there is another way of looking at the door. It's a conversation about perspective, okay. It's a conversation about perspective. What you see becomes the reality. That is not the truth, okay. So what has not changed for women is the way we look at women till date. It has not changed. I remember a few days ago I put up a reel it was meant to be a sarcastic reel, and I was talking about men as they are the ones who have like done everything for women. And obviously I was being sarcastic. By saying men, I obviously meant women, okay. One of this other person who wrote like 2 pages long comment on it, and he went on to say things like, girls are doing so many things on Instagram, they are just wearing shorter clothes, you don't look at them. But it's very visible that the girls wear shorter clothes Not all girls are wearing shorter clothes, okay? But those girls who are wearing shorter clothes, that's visible to us. But the guys who are going to watch those girls is not visible to us. And I'm sorry to say, I've seen number of my own students from class 10th to 12th. They are like, they have their picture and they are not wearing anything on top. They're topless. But we don't care for them because they're boys. No, we are not looking forward. I'm sure some really shameless person who comes across my video will say, oh, so really, you girls really want to be topless and you don't want to wear clothes. I'm sure some really shameless man can say that. And guess what? I've answered these kind of men also and told them that, let me not get into that answer. You will be like troubled to hear that and you'll be shocked. So the idea is not about being topless, wearing lesser clothes. The idea is about the same thing being done by two genders, and then thank you so much, the same thing being done by two genders, but then you say that when one does it, it's all right. When the other does it, oh my God, she's so shameless. This is something which has not changed till date. Okay, so there's I've made a long note so that, anyway, the video is going to be long, but I really wanted to talk about some pertinent things, because every day I get at least 7 to 8 questions from my ex-students, okay, whom I've taught like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And they still think that, maybe something which is related to perspective can be taught to me by my old English teacher, Arunima ma'am. So for these students, and thanks to these students that I get my inspiration in life, and absolutely, I think I find my healing energy from students, and that is something that has kept me going. Okay, if it's my children who have kept me alive and who have kept me young, I think it's my students who have kept me inspired, and they, every day I like make myself more educated because my students ask me these kind of questions. So have things changed? Of course, some little bit has changed, but most of it has not changed. The gaze has not changed. And so what is the situation like? And, all those things we are going to deal with. We are going to talk about all that. Now, you will find in Atul Subhash's case, and I'm sure there are many such cases. I'm not trying to say that Atul Subhash is a singular case. But when you compare the data, so the main question is, you look at the data and then you say things, okay? That is the ideal sensible thing. When I teach public speaking and when I teach creative writing, when you want to convince your audience, you got to say things which actually are, or which has a proof. Okay, so when you get into data, you will realize that Atul Subhash and other cases are like very, very in in percentage, they are very minor percentage cases, and women are still struggling. Okay, every day there are female feticides happening, there are acid attacks, there are rapes, and it said it's every 16 minutes one woman gets raped. And those are the cases which we come to know. There are many cases which we don't even come to know, okay? So, coming back to the fact that data is very important when you say something. Don't just say because your best friend said that, or because your father belongs to a certain political party and the political party believes in that. That is why we are talking about it. Try to find out data. Whenever you put an argument, the very, very important component along with the argument is a proof. Okay, so the proof only can get you to become a speaker who is relevant and who's respectable. Okay, why do people want to hear to a speaker, or where does the speaker find confidence from? Speaker finds confidence from the fact that the speaker does not just speak out of emotions. The speaker speaks out of logic. The speaker speaks out of mental calmness. Mental calmness and confidence come together when you have given yourself some time to find some real data. Okay, real data is very important before you speak. Otherwise, I can tell you about, the whatever problems I had with the maid 3 years ago. And if I make a speech on, the maid is this, the maid is that, will it make sense? It doesn't make sense. You are talking about, you've seen like 5 women misbehave on Instagram. And let me tell you that if those women were doing whatever, there'll be millions of views also. Can you guess which gender may be watching that woman? I don't think it's difficult to find out. Anyway, so why do men say that things have changed for women? Okay, so first thing I've already mentioned that, there are some women around on Instagram proving things otherwise, or they may have met someone who is proving things otherwise as compared to what we want to see. Let me go back to my original point off and on, that the gaze, the perspective has not changed. Okay, if till date I'm a teacher, and maybe even I may not like a girl shouting. I'm not trying to say I don't like girls shouting or things like that. I'm just trying to say that despite studying and despite being very respectful, educated, we still hold that gaze. As I just said, boys being topless on their DPs on Instagram is like fine, oh they're cool, oh they have developed a body. But women wearing shorter clothes is such a shameful act. Oh god, naak kata diya ghar ka. Right? So, change the gaze. You need to see that, she's also free to do that. That's one thing. Apart from that, few women, so what you see around you becomes your world. Okay? So consequently, men say कि आजकल की तो औरतें बदल गई हैं. Also, again coming back to the gaze thing, औरतें बदल गई हैं in the sense that what was the expectation with औरत? Okay, a lot of people look at me wearing sari and they think कि ये तो बहुत ही classical type की औरत. I'm not. You talk to me for 5 minutes and you will get disappointed in your life. Because if you say nonsense to me, like if you say nonsensical things like ye to adarsh and nonsense, then I'll give you something that you'll regret all your life hearing. Okay? So ek hai ki we have certain expectations, and when women don't fulfill those expectations, you got to ask yourself this question: what is my expectation with boys and what is my expectation with girls? And then look at your world around, recalibrate yourself, and then redo this work of forming newer impressions if you really want to get the right answer. Atul Subhash type of cases, they become big cases. Obviously, that was a very sad event. I'm not trying to say that all women are saints. They're not at all. But then these cases are very much like very fewer, like percentage wise, I would say, as compared to so many crimes against women happening. And these crimes are like, they're not news. There was this one news in another video I was mentioning that they showed a picture of a guy and he was holding his, I think 6-month or 8-month-old child. Okay, usko doodh ka bottle he was holding in his hand and usko pila raha tha. Then they said that kudos or salute to this father, because the wife was giving some exam inside. Okay, hats off to that father, like he was a good person. What he is doing today has been done for centuries by women. We never even bothered our husbands to hold the child. In fact, I don't know about other women, but for women coming from my type of family background, we don't even think कि हमारे husband कुछ करेंगे, कुछ लायक करके दिखाएंगे. I'm sorry to say, till date, most of us are into families where we don't expect our husbands to even hold the child. पढ़ाई करवाना तो दूर की बात है. And these days fathers have changed for the worse, in the sense that they become friendly to the children, and then the mother has to do both the things. कि unconditional प्यार भी देना और conditional प्यार भी देना. पढ़ाई नहीं कर रहा तो then the father will say chill. So, what happened in that case, like that picture was, someone said कि today he's letting his wife, give the exam, and tomorrow the same wife will put up a divorce case and ask for alimony. So I just felt like saying that this is news actually. Men holding the child is actually news. Okay, so please look at the way you look at things. Yeah, this is news. Women have been doing it. It's not news. It's nothing new. So that's one thing. Like, these cases make men more emotional. And when you become very emotional about cases like Atul Subhash, please think about that statement that we have been giving for women. Women are emotional fools. ऐसे बोलते हैं ना कि बहुत ही ज़्यादा औरतें तो भाई. But one Atul Subhash case made so many men emotional. So many women's cases happening every day. And then when I speak, then there are people who tell me, तुम तो घर तोड़ना चाहती हो. कौन सा घर? Which house are you talking about where the woman was basically a Naukarani? Okay, like that's as blatant as it could be. So that's one thing why men are saying things have changed, because उनके सामने जो दुनिया है वो बदल गई है. पहले तो आप अपने expectation को question करो कि what was your expectation? I remember, on my YouTube, like even though there are very few followers, and but there was this great conversation on one of the alimony. I think I'd made a video on alimony and things. There were these two men who were consistently talking with each other, and they're saying कि मर्द ही तो काम कर रहे हैं, ऑटो वाला भी मर्द है, चाय वाला भी मर्द है, ये है मर्द है, उनकी सारी औरतें घर में बैठी हुई हैं. So they are like assuming कि woman who's sitting at home is doing no work, and auto wala and all these people are doing work. What is the basic idea behind work? Work is something which is paid. Like in physics, we had this definition of work. अब यहाँ पर भी एक work होता है. Work is something that is being paid. We don't get paid for putting our lives to risk. Okay, we don't get paid. रोज खाना पकाना तो बड़ी बात थोड़ी है. So then women's work does not get counted at all. Okay, and consequently, unfortunately, here I really want to put one more thing. There are many people like I'm forgetting his name, the one who was like advertising Geeta so much, and some of his views are like great. Acharya Prashant, I think. He said कि घर से बाहर निकलो, तुम भी काम करो. Of course, you should work outside. I'm not trying to say that. But there is no respect for women's work. There is no respect for feminine work. Thank you so much. The idea is we need to change our perspective. Women have been working for centuries. You have not looked at it. That is your problem. That's a society's problem. Okay? Stop telling women आप बाहर निकलो, जिनको निकलना है वो निकलो, जिनको नहीं निकलना है आप घर में बैठो, घर में बहुत काम है. Please stay at home and do some work at home and then see कितना काम है घर पे. That's the most important work. In fact, you know, घर में इंसान बनाने से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्या काम है? Like some people say कि औरत मर्द के बिना माँ थोड़ी बन सकते हैं. मर्द का कितना कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन होता है. Thank you so much. So मर्द का कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन क्या होता है एक बच्चा पैदा करने में? That is like that something which is like enjoyment for him turns out to be a lifetime change for the woman. We got to look at that. Thank you so much. So the fact that we need to change our perspective, we need to look at real data. We just don't need stop looking at the world around us and start questioning our expectations. Emotional bias hai. We were saying कि women are emotional and things like that. Men are also like more emotional. You would say कि auntie लोग बात करते हैं. I've looked at men talking to each other. Then men also have a history of not listening, and that I'll tell you personally why. Now I've changed drastically. In the last 1 month, I became silent on social media and I tried to hold myself back. I think I'm forgetting this man's name. Like he's like Ranveer Allahabadia. There was this other guy like him only, and I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, so he was talking about the fact that what can law do? Okay, now the laws are highly biased against men and things like that. What can law do? If a woman says this, then men can be taken direct to prison. If a woman says that, then men can be whatever. It kept talking about if. And I asked the question, can you just drop the if and tell me what is truly happening? Can you just tell me why these laws came into place? Why is it asked कि आप अपने लिव इन को लीगलाइज करो? ये सारे सवाल आए कहाँ से? There must have been something back in history that have brought this to happen. Okay, if these laws are so much against men or so much in favor of women, do you know still women are suffering? Because the real women who need it are not getting the opportunity to use it. क्योंकि ज्यादा से ज्यादा lawyers आज भी मर्द हैं. Okay, and I have been to the court and I have seen literally scenes which I don't even want to talk about. I did not take the legal case very seriously, but I've seen women suffer in legal cases. In fact, sacrifice their own parts of the personality and get into a part of where they were not utilizing integrity, so to say. Anyways, nothing of that. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a history of men thinking कि मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ वो सही है, and the other person should listen to me. So I'm like so smart. This is a filtered version of narcissism, I would say. So on one of these videos when I said that, can you just drop this if and talk about what is really happening? Can you just give us the history of how men have manipulated women? And when I say men, obviously there are a lot of men. I don't say all men, but there are a lot of men. Okay, so the fact that then I got 93 comments जिसमें कि मेरी मम्मी पापा सबको गाली वाली दिया हुआ था. And obviously I answered back in the worst possible language. I also did that. I will not hide that part of me. I will not hide my shadow. But what I realized was that these people have basically nothing to do. They are vella. And the fact is that they are filled with nonsense. They don't want to see reality. They just want to live in the bias they are living in. So that is why men are still saying कि things have changed and the present woman is very different. हमारी माँ के ज़माने में then that like whatever. Okay. Today I found out, there was this again commentary on this movie Mrs. and someone said that if you are a man and you find this movie biased, then go and have a chat with your mother. एक बार आप शांति से बात करो, then you'll come to know things. There was this man who wrote that I had this chat with my mother and my mother said that, nothing of this sort ever happened with me. Okay, please talk to me on a personal level, right? We'll talk about this, okay? Little. I think I'm forgetting your real name. If you're my student, you can contact me on DM, okay? We'll talk about that, how can you take action and things like that. So the fact that he said ki I talked with my mother and my mother said ki bhai aisa nahi hai, that happened in my mother's time. Okay, so coming to now why women say that things have changed. Okay, why women say that things have changed. So there are, first of all, though, you always got to remember that women are also human beings. So I'm not trying to say that women are goddesses. Okay, women are human beings and they can be wrong too. There are many people like uninformed, like our very cabinet minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay, she said patriarchy does not exist. You know why? Because women like me. She didn't say me exactly, but she talked about Indira Gandhi. She said ki women who wanted to rise rose. Okay, now it's not about women who want to rise. For heaven's sake, you got to understand that the society should be such, the government should be such that there should not be singular women. Like she herself is a singular cabinet female minister. I was hearing Vidya Balan's comment on something she was telling Anupam Kher in one of the reels. She said ki, I don't know, I'm very surprised about the fact that no one ever misbehaved with me or asked me a question like going for coffee in a wrong way. So I seriously feel, she said that she seriously feels that men misbehave with women when they invite it or something like that. She said it in a very decent manner, but what she meant was that if you are straight, then people will not misbehave with you. That means that, and then again, another one, I think there is this channel on, it's related to psychology, Sridhar, something like that. Like he used to speak so well in the last few weeks. Thank you. In the last few weeks, I don't know why his content is going bad. He's talking about कि Mrs. में मुझे एक बात अच्छी नहीं लगी, the way she responded in the end. Like she threw that thing and then she got people to drink that whatever nala ka pani or pipe ka pani or whatever. And then he said, okay, that was extreme. I understand that. I don't support it. But if you've been in that situation, I can tell you, rebellion happens on one fine day. It builds up bit by bit by bit, and one fine day you start even using abusive language. And then he said कि आपको धीरे धीरे बोलना चाहिए, आपको ये करना चाहिए. Like you should have said, set your foot that no, I'm going to do a job. It doesn't happen, dude. You got to be a woman in that situation and then realize कि आपको बचपन से ये बोल के बड़ा किया गया था कि सास को जवाब मत देना. That's something that, a lot of mothers tell their daughters when they're getting married. And that's a very emotional situation for any daughter. Ki ab to main shaadi karke, like I'm going to another family and the mother is crying, the daughter is crying. Then the mother says, ki don't ever answer back your mother-in-law. And then the mother or, the masi or the chachi or the kaki or the mami who is also mother-like, they teach ki aise haath, matlab pair aise dabana, 5 baar pair chuna. You have been nurtured like this and suddenly like one day you'll say ki nahi, mere ko job karna hai. When you say that, you see that instantly you'll be answered back. But aapke muh se gaali niklegi. It's not like that. What do you think? It is not like that. Either you'll submit for your whole life or ek din kisi din rebellion hoga. So why these women say that, things like that? They have a sense of superiority complex. And there are a lot of women. There was one woman who was writing on and she is supposedly holding some designation in some big school. So she said that this is only a perspective. I wrote something like, marriage has always been about men getting a free maid and dowry and things like that, which was not at all wrong. That was much before I saw the movie Mrs. So she said it may be just a perspective and men may also have a perspective. I'm very sorry to say, when you reach a certain point, because you have become successful, you think that, you own the world. Just like Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman or Vidya Balan, she said ki, we build, of course we teach people how to behave with us. I don't disagree with that. But from day one, can you do that? You cannot. Because when you were born, let me come to this point later. I'll talk about it. But because this is a very important point of conditioning. So this is one of the reasons, a sense of superiority complex, which is a high level illusion. Okay. Then, narcissism. Okay, internalizing patriarchy also causes them to think like that. Internalizing patriarchy is what? Like, like what happened in Germany. Okay, what happened in Germany because of, this great saint we all know. His father was also, Hitler's father was a big disciplinarian, a very, very cruel kind of a father. So out of a cruel father, generally we tend to think, the kid will be like, very suppressed. But what happens, the child sometimes becomes suppressed or sometimes even internalizes. What happens with mothers-in-law that become toxic later is that initially they tolerate all the nonsense and then they think, okay, I was a worker in this part of my life. Now when I will get my daughter-in-law, then I will be the ruler. That sense of internalizing patriarchy, or internalizing that, like subconsciously, you're not even knowing all these things, okay, subconsciously you're wanting to feel so powerful that, okay, previously it was like that. No, power does not come like that. Power never comes by suppressing other. Power only comes by freeing yourself and not listening to the nonsense that other people have to say. Power comes by the fact when you give yourself independence and you do what you want, literally, and when you do things that make you happy and does not cause harm to others. Okay, so there is a sense of, internalizing patriarchy, and they think that, if we agree with the men. And I've also seen some of the influencers, so sad to say that I've seen some influencers, like women I'm talking about, and influencer, because they have so many people following them, so they'll say things which sound good to the men also. Okay, so let's agree with the men. Why? Because then, then there'll be no problem and conflict. Okay, then tomorrow I will not have to answer any questions. Then, dude, you are not powerful at all. Power comes in your voice. Okay, and you should be ready anytime to be able to answer back. Of course, sometimes you're taken aback by what the other person says. Like when I started singing 5-6 years ago, people thought I'm going crazy. And I also heard in the school, there was this male teacher who said that aap kitna acha gaati hai. For the first time, I did not understand how to answer him back. And the very next day, he shared my video, writing his own comments. And the very next moment, you are not prepared. There is this one moment that teaches you. Okay, so the very next moment I called him up and I said that I'm going to share the screenshot. I've taken one to the principal. He said sorry, he deleted it, he unfriended me, he blocked me. So, yes, you learn things bit by bit. Okay, you don't have to agree with men. In fact, any man who accepts you only because you are a disempowered entity, or because you agree with him or them, I don't think that man needs to be accepted by you at all. Okay, if you have to maintain a formal connection, it's all right. It's that man's life. Let him ruin his life by thinking anyway. But if you want to be agreeable, where are you then? You're just making others happy. What about you? What is your identity? So some women do for that also. Some women have the superwoman complex, okay? Superwoman, I've done so much in my life. And there's a great deal of harm because of the superwoman complex. I'm earning so much. My kids are in the best school. My kids are the toppers. And my house is like, spick and span. Like, it's like so clean. Everything is going on time. And then you think that, okay, I'm like managing very well. So anyone who's not doing things like me, then that person obviously inferior to me. Then the sense of judgment comes. Whenever judgment comes, you overlook your own shadow. Okay, I'll talk about shadow in some time. But superwoman complex causes you a lot of harm, which you will see later. Because it causes a lot of stress, physical, mental, everything. Okay, so anyways, coming back to the main point, in any condition the data proves otherwise, things have not changed drastically. Okay, and I would always say that, what we still need to change big time is our perspective, the way we look at men and women. Men being topless in the DP in Instagram or wherever is like cool. He has a body, he has like made 6 packs or whatever, 6.5 or whatever. A woman wearing shorter clothes, she's such a shameless girl. We need to change that perspective, then things will like drastically change. So what has really changed? Okay, if I talk about the good changes as a woman, because I'm a single mother and I know how I take care of my kids and how I think that I was like so scared before treading into that, onto that path of independence and thinking how will I do things. I think now it's easier to get jobs. I'd say that it's easier to get jobs as compared to previously, because even walking out of the house was difficult. Okay, those things have changed. And then work from home is a great opportunity. Okay, so let's talk about Zomato, and you can sit back at home and do those things. Like, once upon a time I was thinking, chodo ye sab tuition, I'll make some healthy snacks, or I'll make some protein shakes, and in the entire building I'll be toing and froing and giving it to people, and I'm going to earn a lot. And yes, there is such an opportunity. I didn't do. I'm not interested in cooking at all. But these kind of options are available for women today. It was not yesterday. And this change has not come from perspective change. It has just come because of technology. Like in astrology, they say na ki Rahu ka era start ho gaya, so Rahu has caused this technological advancement. Okay, so yes, work from home is possible. You can call children to your house to give them tuitions. That's possible. Okay, laws have changed. I don't disagree to that. Yet a lot has to still change. Previously, there were laws that people could say no to women for giving them, places on rent. People could say no to women for, in fact, right to property also has been an amendment in the last century. So things have changed, okay? What other things have changed for me as a woman when I think my kids are like still 11 and 9? Ola. I can call Ola, okay? I don't have to drive myself necessarily and think of, the whole journey. Or I can think of Blinkit, okay? And even at 10 o'clock, I can still think, ki print out kahan se milega. I don't have to go around in the darkness and find out things. Things have changed related to technology, which is a great help. Like, I would say as a woman that, things have changed for me like that. And that's one reason I don't want to leave, the NCR, the National Capital Region. Right. But there are worse changes also. Let's not forget, okay? Moving out has caused lack of safety inside and outside both. Okay. Now, previously there were problems only at home because women were staying at home. Now, there's problem outside also. There's this growing sense of frustration within men also. And I'm not talking about all men, not all men, but there are a major number of men. And these men actually hold, it's not about just getting raped, please let me tell you. It's also about someone looking at you in that manner or your boss saying nonsense to you. Not every woman has the opportunity and the courage to answer back. And women who have the opportunity to answer back are looked at as mad women, okay? I am that mad woman. So, the negative aspect of being a superpower woman or like superpower complex, that kind of a thing, I am this superwoman, it causes a lot of mental, physical, all kinds of ailments it causes, right? Then the prevalence of food, which is so easily available, is also causing problems, right? Causing health issues, okay? Women, like people are trying to cook like the tastiest of meal, but in cooking the tastiest of meal, they're also putting harmful things, right? Paneer and all those things which are there. So what has changed for women? The health of women can go down because of these things. Then I would say that, fast life is kind of, putting yourself into that existential situation. You are not living the life, you're just existing. What has not changed? The first thing that I would say has not changed is most of the men have not changed. Okay. There is this quotation also that says that an entire generation went into making women into empowered entities, but unfortunately they forgot to raise the men for these empowered women. Men have not changed. A lot of men have not changed still. And these people, even those men who are trying to grow and understand women, these other men are trying to, cause blocks. Okay. They're trying to cause blocks into letting these, good men understand the real problem. Okay. So a lot of the mentality has not changed, and not just in men, in a lot of women, mother-in-laws have not changed, in-laws have not changed. In one or the other way, what the problem with people understanding misses is the fact that, if you ask someone, why didn't you like the movie? They'll tell you two things. Okay. They will tell you the first thing, that the way she responded towards the end. Okay, that she got everyone to drink. They were not even related, and she got them to think like drink that nala ka pani or pipe ka pani, whatever. So that I've already answered. I said that rebellion happens on one fine day. Okay, it's not possible कि आप धीरे धीरे बोलो नहीं मुझे जॉब करनी है तो उसी दिन थप्पड़ पड़ जाएगी आपको. Okay, और so the fact is that rebellion happens in that one moment. Like suicide, you get inspiration for suicide in one moment. You also get that courage of rebellion in one moment. If you lose that moment, it will not happen. Okay, so that anger pops up in one moment. Okay, so I don't think it was like, obviously what she did was wrong, but the fact that it can happen. Okay, if you have seen the movie, you may have seen कि उसको एकदम जैसे होटल के जैसा दो ऐसा शिकंजी, एक शिकंजी इसके साथ, एक शिकंजी उसके साथ, ऐसे 9 शिकंजी. Okay, so she was being given order, nonsense that was, and she was not even allowed to come out and be with them. So the other thing that people will tell you is कि like people have taken it literally कि अब तो कौन ही सिलवट्टे पर पीस रहा है चटनी and things like that. Nonsense you are thinking, okay? You are going by the literal. That means you're not literally minded at all. You don't have that higher mind and critical thinking skills. Please understand, it was talking about how her emotions are of no value. How her work is like, considered to be inferior to that of the husband. The husband comes at home कि 12 घंटे काम करा. What was she doing at home? She was also working. Those things are important to note, that, women are second citizens. Please understand, till date, the household work does not get paid or does not get included in the GDP. Okay. Then, the gross domestic product of the nation, it's not getting included there. That means it's not work. Right. So what is work? Work is something which is paid. So women, if the way we are wanting to bring up women, we are trying to get women to work more and more outside. We're trying to forget work at home. We're trying to forget that giving birth to humans is the biggest work that anyone can ever do. What we are doing is we are disregarding this work completely. We are disrespecting. We are creating the scene of wherein we have put femininity to the corner. Femininity is not good. Masculinity is all that matters. That is something that needs to change. And that change can be brought about by women and men both. Okay. Then dowry has not changed. Dowry has become worse. Okay. Women are still second citizens. Okay. Then mother-in-laws, all those things. And still women, if you look at the marriage system, the woman only leaves the family. Now some people will say कि ऐसा क्या है, मेरा तो बेटा भी अलग रह रहा है, and things like that. But you have not changed the marriage system. For heaven's sake, Mangalsutra is worn by women, Sindoor is worn by women. Okay, Karwa Chauth or Teej is done by women. Okay, and Vidai happens for women. Okay, so finally जिसको बोलते हैं ना कि like the right, the owners are the men's family. Okay, that is still the reality. Still the woman's parents are thinking. Now some people at this point of time say कि मेरे तो बेटे की जो ऐसे है ना, उसकी सास ऐसे सोचती है, वैसे सोचती है. Please first question yourself. What were your expectations? When you write down your expectations, na, if at all you have some sensibility left in your mind, you will see that your expectations are wrong. Your expectations are biased as the son's mother. You still are thinking about things which have been there for centuries. So these things have not changed. Marriage has not changed. Marriage was never in favor of women, I'd say. Okay. What has not changed drastically is the abusive language. You are still using mother's organ and sister's organ and whoever the female relative's organ. You say things have changed. Please make new abusive language using men. Okay. And leave us women alone. What has grown worse with abusive language is that even women use these languages, and they literally use women only in the abuse. Why? Why is it thought to be cool? Like, I've studied in one of the best universities and I've seen people using all these languages as though they are so cool. Why would you talk about a woman's parts only? Why wouldn't you talk about a man's parts if this is so cool? So there's something worth hiding and shaming is the woman. And if you say something about the woman's organ, then you sound cool because, that was something so, that has something to be hidden and you spoke that. Oh my God, you're such a great personality. That has not changed. Please don't forget. So the entire idea, women have been objectified. Women have also objectified themselves. Now, when people say कि लड़कियां छोटे कपड़े पहनती and things like that, I always say, whatever she wears or doesn't wear, it's her right. But at the same time, I'll also tell women that the basic idea of patriarchy, and that is coming from sociology and psychology, whatever I've studied and whatever I've understood through so many of literature, is the fact, like, let's say there are two very intelligent people, okay? But one of them is emotional. So this one person wants to be the ruler. What will this one person do with the one who has to be suppressed? He will say that, you are so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so hot. I just lose myself in front of you. That sounds funny, but that's exactly what has happened, Like, women have been made to think that if you straighten up your hair, I'm sorry, I've been there and I'm going to, like, wherever I want to straighten my hair, I'll do that. But what I'm trying to say is that we have made a lot of checklist, a longer checklist for women to be acceptable than for men. If you look at guys, like, I'm sorry, I have been born and brought up in Patna, and I've seen boys going in that Sando Ganji, Sando Ganji and half pant, and they would move out. Ki theek hai, ladka hai, lekar aa gaya, garmi hai. If you are a girl in Patna, I don't live in Patna anymore, but I still remember, if you're a girl in Patna, अच्छे से सलवार सूट दुपट्टा ओढ़ के आप रोड पे जा सकते हो. Okay, so there's a longer number of checklists. Think about this thing, okay? When you think of marriage, look at the bride and look at the groom. Now, I always wonder why we don't talk about the handsomeness of the groom. Thank you so much. Why don't we talk about the handsomeness of the groom? Two questions. Are women not capable of looking at beauty or handsomeness? Are they not capable of expressing it? Second, why do women have to do so many things? इतने सारी jewelry woman को ही पहनना पड़ता है. Then she becomes the bride. And the guy just wears that cloth and वो सर में कुछ पहन लेता, हो गया. Done. Woman has to get that bridal makeup and bridal, I don't know kya, I don't even remember when I became a bride कि the this thing gave कि आपको ये कराना पड़ेगा, ये 3 दिन पहले कराना पड़ेगा, ये 2 दिन पहले कराना पड़ेगा, ये उस दिन कराना पड़ेगा. That list does not exist for men, you know what? And we are made to feel dissatisfied with our looks, like like I've come just in any form of hair, I didn't even comb it. So this is like, yeah, this is unacceptable. अरे भाई लिपस्टिक नहीं लगाया है, काजल नहीं लगाया है. I'm not trying to say lipstick or kajal is wrong. I very much like doing that. I very much like wearing sari. I very much like carrying junk jewelry and like silver jewelry and all kinds of jewelries. But I would do that for myself, not for pleasing anyone, any goddamn person on this planet. That's the main thing. That's something that women need to realize, that this is a strategy of patriarchy to make you feel inadequate. That is something that has to change. That, and it's very difficult to draw a line, if you feel the need, how can you ask this question to yourself is, if you feel the need, like, that when I'll dress like this, or when I'll wear these kind of things, or when I behave in this manner, very feminine manner, then he's going to accept me. You have to question yourself. Are you doing the right thing for yourself? Whether that person accepts you or rejects you, that's another thing. You have rejected yourself straight away. Because you say, मेरे को तो ये करना पड़ेगा, तब वो मेरे को accept करेगा. Or he's younger to me. Or he's from another community. I'll act like, another community. अब मैं हिंदू मुस्लिम बन के दिखाऊंगी, मुस्लिम हिंदू बन के दिखाऊंगी. और, उसके घर में करवा चौथ होता है. Nonsense. This is something that in the teenage people could do, and not that teenage. This is something inherent to women. We've been made to think like that, कि आपको ही दूसरे के घर जाना है. So you have to accept that culture. This has to change, I don't know about men. But what women can do, I can definitely tell you, okay? So what women need to do is to grow themselves up, to accept themselves, and also to nurture their sons into becoming the kind of men that we actually need. Please find and read more about divine feminine and divine masculine. Try to develop your son into a divine masculine. ये जो वर्क डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, भगवान ने कहीं पर भी आके बताया नहीं था हम लोगों को कि घर का काम ठीक है. लाइक समवन वाज टेलिंग मी, बच्चे पैदा करने में मर्द क्या कर सकता है, बच्चे तो औरत के ही शरीर से पैदा होते हैं और दूध भी वही पिलाते हैं, ठीक है, दैट्स राइट. बट वॉज इट ऑल्सो सेड दैट घर में खाना भी वही बनाएगी और उसको दूध का बॉटल साफ करके वही देगी, या फिर उसकी नैपी वही चेंज करेगी? दोज क्वेश्चंस नीड टू बी ब्रॉट अप. Yes, the woman can only give birth to the child and nurture the child through her breastfeeding. But what about the other chores? Why do you make it compulsory for her कि आपको allow करेंगे काम करने के लिए, but आपको ये भी करना पड़ेगा, otherwise so you can't go out. This entire question of allowing is the biggest problem. Who are you to allow me? Who are you to allow me? That is the question that women have to ask. So what should women do? And especially after reading all that nonsense, like I've stopped commenting now. Like abhi bhi, like sometimes I feel triggered and then I go and write some comments somewhere. But I realize that, commenting and getting triggered and answering people and trying to enlighten them in questions and answers on comments is not going to help. I think what's going to help is to find peace for yourself. Okay? To find peace for yourself is the first step towards, calming yourself down. Second thing what you should do is, like, you must do shadow work. Okay, shadow work, that you can always find out some videos from YouTube and find out books. I've always suggested Kela Shine is a great book, and I came across it like after reading and doing many more work. But Kela Shine is a good book to start with. It not only explains to you what is shadow, but it also tells you how to do it, like on a regular basis. It's like a workbook also. What is shadow? Shadow is that part of you which you have not accepted. Like, let's say कि बचपन में there is a child who wanted to play some games on laptop or something, and the parents did not accept it, and the parents said that you are such a bad boy. So the child said, okay, I'm not going to play games. Now those kind of children don't exist in the present world. But like, let's say that I remember I was a topper and leader once upon a time in college, and then someone told me, and I very brilliantly, very clearly remember that point of time. This teacher told me that, oh, you are also a singer? That was not with appreciation. Most of the people whoever have told me about singing have told me, like, given me appreciation. This teacher said, ki, I didn't expect that you sing also. It was in a very, very negative light. I thought, ki, अच्छा टॉपर होने वाली लड़की को गाना नहीं गाना चाहिए, नाचना गाना तो. That was the biggest mistake I ever committed, because I kept losing myself after that. And it was much later, like 6 years ago, that I found myself back into singing. So that was a golden shadow. Shadow does not only comprise of negative aspects, shadow also comprises of good aspects, which you have like suppressed. When you do shadow work, 2-3 things will happen. One, you will find yourself back. Second, you'll stop judging others. You'll start understanding that, this is very natural. So what about these people? Like, Ranveer Alabadia said something like that. That was obnoxious. I did not like that at all. But the fact that what people are going to do, someone went to threaten his mother in her clinic, and then people, like so many people, are after his life. Like, if he is doing something bad, and there are so many people writing abusive language against his parents, they think that what he did was wrong, and then they are writing abusive language against his parents. Are you right in doing that? What about these people, when I heard about all this stampede and things like that? So in Delhi, I think 2-3 days ago this happened. Then the people are blaming the government. Oh, I am not in favor of the government at all. But what about these people? They call themselves devotees. They don't have a general sense of buying a proper ticket and going on the train. What about those people who had bought the ticket and got the proper seats, and still they are standing or sitting with so many other people? You don't have basic sense of morality, basic sense of being a human. Then you call yourself devotees. There are 3 children who got killed in the Delhi stampede. What about those parents who were so idiotic to say, and they took their children in such a crowd? I really wanted to go to, whatever way may anyone want to think, I wanted to go to Mahakumbh. Okay, I am religiously bound towards Lord Shiva. But when I saw these things, then I really dropped the idea. I understood that it's not meant to be, okay? Because I didn't want to go alone. I wanted to take my kids. I did not, because I have to be responsible. I'm a parent. And so the idea that, you point fingers at others, and you don't remember that, these 4 fingers are pointing at you, these 3 fingers are pointing at you. That's the shadow work. That's going to help you. And let me tell you, part of the shadow is a feminine shadow. Men and women both have yin and yang qualities, masculine and feminine qualities. Both men and women have. Men are very much capable of love. They can actually nurture you like anything. The only thing is that the communication is different between the two of them. Obviously, bodily, they are different. So the fact that we have been suppressing the feminine aspect, not just of men, but even of women, to a certain extent that, women also, to be able to express and to cry. Women are taught कि तुम्हारी कोई बेइज्जती करे ससुराल में, you just smile on it. I've done that myself. So we are taught things. Okay, whenever you follow some rules, ki ye sahi hai, this is right, then you are building up a shadow, because you are not letting your natural self flow. Okay, like that child who gave up gaming because of the parents. Maybe the child could have been a big gamer, or he may have earned out of it. So when we do that, then we literally kill our real selves. Okay, feminine is a big aspect of our shadow. So what can women do? The first thing, please find peace for yourself. Do your shadow work well. Move on in the real self. Don't get stuck by these comments every day. Like, I gave up my social media thing for 1 full month to be able to find peace. Like, even though I've tried finding peace for 5-6 years, I realized that no one is changing because of me. At the most, I can come on my own channel and be live and then, speak something. But going to other people's videos and commenting may not teach anyone anything. Rather, it will bring unrest to me. So what can you do instead? Stop proving the point in writing somewhere. Start proving the point by being that woman, who can be an inspiration to girls. That's something you can do. Be that mother, be that woman who's an inspiration not just to the girls but also to men. That tells the generation that, yes, what is real empowerment, what is actually power. Okay, and again, I would say I have no issues and problems, and I am not against women who are wearing shorter clothes. But if your power needs to be proven by wearing shorter clothes, or if you feel adequate by appearing in a certain way only, that is disempowerment. Okay, I really love dressing up, but I can go like this also anywhere, okay? But it's not about proving myself to be correct. I am still a work in progress. Everyone is, okay? So the main idea is to find that love, that independence within yourself. Like my mother says, "Ghode ka chashma pehno." So we got to focus on the right things, okay? It is very irritating outside. I do understand that. But you know how real change will come? Real change will come with you and me changing things, okay? Real change will not come just by fighting. Real change will come with real work, okay? So let's do the real work. Let's find our real voice. And I see my mentor here, Mr. Amandeep Then. Thank you so much, sir. So he helped me find the real voice. So when you find your real voice and say what you really are meant to say, then things will change, okay? Speak at the right time. And even if you've not spoken at the right time, at least speak later. Like that girl in Mrs. did, okay? She she was boiling with rebellion and she did that, okay? Whatever she did, even though looks unacceptable, but she at least, she stood for herself. That's a major thing, okay? Find your say the right things. Another thing that I would want to say towards becoming very, very empowered is find your niche. Find your niche. Like, I have been a class 11th and 12th teacher. Thank you so much. I've been a class 11th and 12th teacher for a very long time, 10th, 11th and 12th. I remember 12 parents signing up against me in the very second year of my career, and they said that this teacher is misguiding our students. Why? Because these 12 parents, their children were the toppers, okay, across the section, and I was teaching them English, and I taught them that you must take the subject that you're meant for, not the subject that the world thinks is great. All of them were either in commerce or humanities, and the parents were against me, okay? And then the principal was laughing because he was like so proud of me. So the entire idea that find your real voice. What happens is, like, when you think that this is good for earning money, or this is great for being acceptable in the society, I'll be called an IITN or an IIM, whatever, like, masters, then the world will look at me with so much of admiration and respect. No, you must find your niche. Like, after a year's break from school teaching, I realized that my real niche is school teaching. I really love the energy of those children of that age, between 10th to 12th. I'm like very, very happy serving them, and I get my healing energy from there. Niche finding is very important because there you know where your power really lies, okay? So which age gives you that happiness? I was very happy with women also. And however, I found out that uh, I draw my own, like my roots are there with the kids. So niche finding is very important, and it's only you who can inspire yourself with real work, okay? And when we're coming down to the last part of it, how would I summarize it? So real or imaginary, like the changes that have come in women's life, partially changes have come. We got to change our attitudes. We got to change our perspective that the society has been holding for a very long time. And the day we actually stop looking at men as men and women as women and things like that, we start looking at what has been done instead of thinking who has done it, then the society would change. And that's it for today. Signing off, Arunima Sanan. Thank you so much. Namaste.